Hello, I'm David Kurzel. This is another one of our videos about timers and Spraymation equipment. This is a Spraymation 3200 timer. This is the previous series of timers. It's got a plain front. It has old-fashioned toggle switches here on the front for power on and another off-test switch. Inside is a whole bunch of wiring, the inside of the switches, the 301046 gun driver module plugged into a socket. Up here above the 301046 is the power resistor we talked about when we discussed how the gun drivers work. And this is a 3200 series timer chassis. These thumb wheel switches are what program the various on times, off times, number of stitches, pulse counts for the shaft and encoder, and all kinds of things. There are control boards that plug in under this that help configure this timer. There are thousands of these in the field. They're very accurate, they're very reliable, and you're going to run into them. People may want another one of these. The disadvantage of this timer is that when this box is closed, you can't adjust the timer. And with today's modern safety standards and OSHA requirements, machine operators can't open an electrical box, and they definitely can't open an electrical box with exposed wiring like in this old unit. So when people are looking for new units, we need to make an effort to try to get them to move up to one of the more modern timers. Okay, this is the 3400 series of timers. This is a delay on timer. It's based on an LED-based timer. It only has 4 buttons, but it's very similar in operation to the 3480 or 3470 full-function timer over there. Let me open up the box. Maybe. You can see some of the stuff inside. There is the 305910 gun driver, just like the other one. The piece of telephone wire. I believe this is actually the first prototype. So all the wiring here that goes on isn't in a secondary sleeve. Wiring that goes by a hinge like this needs to go in a secondary sleeve of insulation so that it won't chafe or wear on the cabinet. So everything that we make today has that secondary level of insulation on it. The little gun driver, the auto off test switch module, little 110 volt wiring for on off. This is that terminal strip. Here, even right here on the panel inside the timer, is the wiring diagram for voltage input, passive contacts, or open collector. And there's a little terminal strip here to bring in incoming power. That's about all there is. So when we close it up, we've got the auto off test switch. Have we ever talked about auto off test switches? I don't believe so. In these units with the 305910 gun driver, this switch in the automatic mode connects the timer to the gun driver module. When it's in the off mode, it's not connected to anything, and in test, it just actuates the applicator. Okay. This timer is really simple to use, program, and everything else. It has a left and right arrow keys that have this little bar under it that show what digit is active. And then when the whole number is active, just like on the other timer, you can, if you change it, it changes the whole number 1/10 of a millisecond at a time. Everything on this timer is only in milliseconds and in tenths of milliseconds. There's a jumper inside the timer, so you can change it to full milliseconds if you need a longer on time. But 999.9 milliseconds is just under a second. It's long enough for almost every application. If we're changing this, we can pick any digit and using the up and down, just change it. That's all there is to it. As soon as it's changed, it's ready to go. It's a real simple timer. All the adjustments are on the outside. You turn it off, bring back. It has a internal memory, just like the other one does, that remembers your settings. It's easy to use. It brings all the controls outside so there aren't any electrical enclosure problems. It's a nice delay on timer. I'd like to see more of these get used in modern tail tie systems. I'd also like to see these things as a replacement for the in-box 3200 series timers on tail tie systems. Thank you. Modern timer. 84 timer. This particular one has a power on switch and 4 auto off test switches, one for each of the 4 channels in the timer. The timer is accessible from the outside of the box. It has an 8-line LCD display and 6 push buttons that are used to enter data, move around the menus, and do things like that. Inside the unit, are 4 5910 gun drivers on a right angle mounting bracket. The right angle mounting bracket is used to save panel space. The auto off test switches over here are all low voltage. They don't have any dangerous high voltages on them. The switches themselves are touch safe. They have this little circuit board where the telephone wires come in and go out and just plug in. So there's no real complicated wiring and not a lot of separate wires like on the old 3200 system. The actual timer module has each of the gun drivers plug into it with a telephone connector, and that's about all there is to this whole unit. It's very simple. It's very easy to wire. It's very easy to change modules in. Can you kind of zoom in right in this area? Okay, we're going to look a little bit about how the LCD works. This particular timer has 4 channels. It's presently set on channel 4. It says over here, set D. This thing has 26 memories for each of the each set of channels. So you can make 26 different products with memorized scripts in this timer. So as we go, as soon as we touch a button, it starts showing us data. So here's the data that's presently programmed in here right now for this channel 4 data set D. It has a delay of 4.5 inches. It has a count of 15, so this is a stitching application. It has a delay of 0 inches and a second count of 0. The stitch gaps are 0. So this is something that's left in the timer. It's probably not a real one. But we can simply go through this thing using the arrow functions and change any of the numbers that are here. So we can just use the plus keys and the minus keys and set anything we need to set. So I've set this particular setting to 3.3. If we go and we highlight the whole number, we can use the plus and the minus keys, and they won't just work on the one digit, they work on the whole number, the whole setting. Now where that's nice is if you are trying to fine-tune a machine or just touch up a setting just a little bit because of a different batch of glue or something like that, you can use this. So let's go down to the configuration menu here and see how this thing's set up. So right now this channel is set up for stitching in account mode with inches and milliseconds. We probably should be doing something a little more simple. So let's go up here. We can change this from stitching to basic timer. We can change this from inches to milliseconds. We can leave the on time in milliseconds. Go back down here, go from configure to timer. Here's some information about the shaft encoder, which we're not going to be using right now. It does have password protection in case you have a problem with people changing settings and you need to control your settings better. And this timer also has an option for run-up control. I think run-up control needs to be another video, but basically what run-up is an automated system to change your fluid pressure based on the line speed of the machine you're dispensing onto. Okay, so this screen has changed because we've changed some of the configuration information. Now it talks about delay 1 in milliseconds, the on time 1 in milliseconds, delay 2, on 2, delay 3 in that. So we can go up here, we can enter some more, change some of these numbers because they're, we can come down here, delay 2, we can change, and I think this is a show demonstration. There we go. So it's automatically trying to do things as we're poking around at things. Delay 2, we can make it like 110 milliseconds. We can have an on time here of 10. Then we can have another one, say 200 milliseconds, and a final thing of 20 milliseconds. Now this is applicator 4, so I'll turn it's on. They're all set to auto. So if I push the test button, it fires out my 3 shots. And so if I change something, let's listen to it again. If I change something, like I go up here and I change this last delay to 400, you can hear the changes. It happens instantly. As soon as you change it, the next actuation will take care of your results. So simply by going through these 2 little menu things, you can program this thing, you can configure it, you can do all the options, you can do the shaft encoded ons and offs, you can do shaft encoded delays with fixed ons, you can do fixed delay times, you can do stitching. There's just a multitude of configurations that can be quickly done. There's a great GR 3480, goes through all the steps and shows you how you push the buttons and how the screen changes to do all this stuff. Very simple, you know, just a few keys, a few menus, and everything's in engineering units, and everything makes sense and needs no complicated calculations. Okay. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this video. If you have questions, please let us know.